to then?
You want angst and angry music. If you've ever heard of Rage Against the Machine or Censor, I mean, that is sheer anger. That's what you're looking for.
But the problem is that the way the system works now is that there is a certain there is a sense of rebellion. I mean, in bands like Nine Inch Nails, like bands like Rage Against the Machine, you know, it's out there. But what's happened, right, is that the corporates have become so big, and I've got to use this wee bit of symbolism, but you've got this big pipeline, right? And in the 80s, that pipeline was full of music that was churning through, and it was topped up by the fact that CDs came out and that they were able to basically regenerate and sell you people. You know, you've got your vinyl, you've got your cassette, but oh by God, I've got to have the CD because there's 2 extra tracks in it and it is a CD after all and it's better, right? So the pipeline was topped up again. But since the recession, the pipeline's been coming down and they've been trying to stack it up by filling it with like the various artists and greatest hits and compilation albums, right? And it's now got to the point where you have these huge corporations that are now feeding off the only area for me that's actually left, which is the independent sector, where bands are still able to express themselves creatively with total freedom, with total disregard, and it can be done with total disregard to, like, you know, the commercial bias or whatever. And they've been fed up, picked up, and they're filling up that pipeline, and we're in great danger of killing off everything that remains of
so
music.
Can creativity and good business sense, can it not coexist? No. Somebody there, yeah?
What you're saying about the marketing machine, you take a look at some of the new artists that are around, right? They'll stick with the record label and they'll be given a certain amount of leeway, is what's been said. But look at some of the established artists, how they tend to chop from one label to another because they can't seem to get the creative latitude they seem to be given. They're not given the latitude because they're not, oh, hey, you're not selling enough LPs, therefore they try and get another deal elsewhere.
It's very, very rare. It's very rare because of contractual restrictions for people to jump. George Michael's trying to jump. I tried to jump way back in 1990, you know, from labels. It's very hard because once a label senses the blood, it holds you, and it will hold you to 5 albums. And unless you...
Some folk are being really shrewd now. Some of the major artists, as I'm saying, if they find it difficult, they're going there with specific contracts, so they're not tied to something.
Yeah, we're about to see one of the biggest litigations that is ever going to... It's going to be bigger than the George Michael litigation that's going to happen, which is the Prince litigation against Warner's. I mean, that is going to be huge, because there is a man who has had a certain element of creative freedom who's now been restricted. The Michael case, I mean, George was arguing about the whole fact that, you know, the Listen Without Prejudice album, that was what you really want to do, but the company was saying, no, this is not what we want you to do. Yeah. And that, to me, is wrong. That is what George's argument was about turning the entire creative spirit into software, you know, which for me is wrong. You know?
Yeah.
OK, somebody else who feels differently, yeah?
Yeah, like, it all comes down to the consumers, which are us, and what we are buying. And if it's more the producers, like, if you're producing music, if we're not wanting to buy it, then that's the problem, I think, is with the artists, that they...
But you're more easily manipulated now than you ever have been. I'm talking as you, as in a general sense.
Yeah,
I mean, we've come down to a situation of the Emperor's Song, where you have Q magazine using the front cover of the January issue in 1994, proclaiming Suede as the band in 1994, a band who, at that point in their career, had not even released an album. And I saw that band at the Queen's Hall in Edinburgh.
That's right, and there's a similar situation.
I mean, does
it's marketing.
Does not actually have a point? I mean, at the end of the day, you're saying that a lot of this stuff that's around, it isn't reflecting the spirit of rock and roll, but the paying public are actually buying this stuff.
Because the public have been manipulated by hundreds of thousands of pounds. Pardon?
Hold on,
you're talking about...
You seem to be very angry here. Hold on.
Can I give you an example? This is not an insult. Can I give you an example? Can I give you an example?
Excuse me. We're going to somebody else. Yes.
You can't manipulate people to go into their pockets, take money out, and go and buy trash. We're not. People don't buy trash. People buy what they like.
Do you think that
I give you the Mr. Blobby single, right? I give you the Mr. Blobby single, right? Mr. Blobby. Listen, excuse me. No, it wasn't. Listen, the way it works, I mean, it's a really interesting way it works, is if a record is actually played, if you listen to Virgin or Radio 1 or Radio 4 or Radio Clyde or whatever, and that record is played enough, it starts entering. How many times have you actually been at work or whatever, I've been whistling a song that you hate, right? And that's the way it works. And it's like the same way as when you open papers, If it's the same way when you open papers and things, and you're suddenly seeing adverts and adverts, you're seeing press.
I'm never.
Excuse me, can we just come Somebody else
Especially about Sway, the same thing happened with Elastica last year. They made the cover at NME, they had one single out, and they're getting told that this is going to be the next great thing. When it used to be, you had to nowadays you can sell. When you're talking about that, we'll buy what we like. There is an apathy in what people buy. 20,000, you sell 20,000 singles these days, you get in the top 10. Used to be that wouldn't even get you in the top 100.
Do you think there's enough new blood coming into the music industry?
There's not a lot of new blood, but what there is a lot of one-hit wonders.
But what about
there's too many? There's
So
far
there's
too
also
many.
a whole scene. There's a whole scene. There's all. I mean, there always has been one-hit wonders.
I know,
but surely
but now
there's a whole
there's far
scene
too
now
many
in
of them.
Glasgow, for example. You've got King Touch. You've got lots of venues that are purely for live music. Surely the whole infrastructure of music, they're encouraging new artists.
To see how many people
Excuse me,
actually
can we
there.
see somebody down here? Yes.
Yeah, I think the whole Fisher's whole argument is just basically based on nostalgia. He's saying, this is what it was like when I was young, and if it's not like that now, then it must be wrong. And
So
that's
do you think-
patronising.
Listen,
Quite
no,
frankly, that's
when I
just patronising.
when I had the Alice in Chains album, the Jar of Flies album, I went, wow. And I went, this is stunning. When I heard Jar of Flies and I heard that album, I went, yeah, the feeling that was in there was great. You know?
So
and what happened?
is
The
there
band
anything
split last
equivalent in
week.
rebellious music
Right,
is for
okay,
this
this
generation?
rebellious stuff you were talking about. Marlon Brando, James Dean, middle-class white boys in tight white T-shirts.
It was before
that
my
was
time.
manipulated from the very start.
It was before
None of
my
the real
time.
spirit of rebelliousness you're talking about was ever there.
Yeah, but what's
You were
happened?
being incredibly naive to think it was in the first
So
place.
does anybody think that actually that it is the music industry which is preventing the next youth movement happening, or is it the apathy of the young people themselves? Yes.
I think we're all getting a bit out of proportion on the one particular. I think we're all getting a bit out of proportion on the one particular area of you know, sort of rock and roll. I think there's now what you have now is a much greater degree of differentiation, that you have a whole wider spectrum, and we're maybe only looking at the one particular area.
So does that demystify? Does that kind of demystify the music industry? And you've got lots of different areas. You don't have everybody religiously following the one group. Is that a good thing? Yes.
Well, what I think is my friend down there, he's bitter because rock and roll is no longer at the forefront of music. It's been replaced by mainly pop and dance now. And that's the reason. In 20 years' time, people who listen to
So are
pop
you
and
bitter
dance
then
music will make the
because
same
rock and roll,
argument you're
as you
making
know,
right
it's
now.
not there at the forefront?
What's happening is like people, you're talking about dance. I've got nothing against dance music, you know, there's a lot of stuff that I really like. But the dance music is indicative of the short-term money thinking of it. Because, I mean, how many dance acts are really going to go ahead? Wait a minute. How many dance acts are going to go ahead and make albums? You've got Janet Jackson, you've got The Shaman, right? The drum album's stunning, right? But what's actually happening is it's short-term gain. I mean, if you look at, like, say, for example, a band like Simple Minds or a band like U2, right, that came out. Simple Minds never happened until about their 5th or 6th album. U2 were about their 3rd or 4th. People are not given the chance to mature. And this is where it's dying off. Because nobody's given the long-term thought on allowing musicians to develop and to create. Because everybody's going for the short-term grab, and it's been done by the lawyers and the accountants and the executives.
But at the end of the day, if people buy rock and roll records, then that will be resurfaced as being the main type of music people listen to.
Okay, over to Bernard and the jury.
OK, we have to put this one to the proposition now. Short of time tonight. Proposition is that rock and roll is dead. Rock and roll is dead. Jury member number 1, is that proven or not proven?
Not proven.
Jury member number 2?
Not proven.
It's not proven. Jury member number 3?
Proven.
Jury member number 4?
Proven.
Casting vote to jury member number 5?
Well, proven.
It's proven. 3 to 2.
Sad but true.
Bothered by ghosts, ghouls and ghastly gremlins? Who are you going to call? Join us after the break to find out.